Ojalá cuando canta yo me transformo en el color del misterio.
We stand at a really important moment in history, when the future of our planet depends upon the actions that we take today to prevent nature loss and climate change. But what actions we take depends upon who is deciding what those actions are. Women's leadership has proven to have outstanding outcomes for people and the planet, yet women remain underrepresented in many forms making decisions about nature. So what can we do to ensure that women are in positions of leadership? There's a phenomenon in California where I live. When there's been a lot of consistent rain over the winter, followed by bright, brilliant sunshine, seeds that have lain dormant in the soil for months blossom all at once and simultaneously into a massive superbloom so big that it can be seen from space. This synchronous flowering supports the thriving of bees, butterflies, hummingbirds, and other pollinators that depend upon the flowers. I believe the best way to protect the planet's future is to have a similar superbloom, but for women. Nurturing the collective intelligence, capacity, and creativity of girls and women across the globe and ensuring they are included in the most critical decisions affecting the future of our planet is one of the best ways to shift our current trajectory. But we still have a long way to go to reach gender equality. Since 2015, when the Sustainable Development Goals were adopted, no country has achieved gender parity. 1/3 of all countries have made no progress towards gender equity, and gender equality has actually worsened in 18 countries. This vast disparity in women's equity continues in the places where critical decisions concerning climate and our planet are made. At the last Conference of the Parties, where countries' commitments to decrease greenhouse gas emissions are made and monitored, only 15 out of 133 world leaders, that's 14%, were women. Worldwide, only 15% of environmental ministers are women. Why is this important? It's important from a human rights perspective, but it's also important for nature and climate. Not only women's leadership, but also women and girls' empowerment that's important for nature and climate. 4 types of girls' and women's empowerment have especially important benefits for the planet: land ownership, girls' education, sexual and reproductive health services, and funding. Currently, only 15% of land worldwide is owned by women. Yet when a woman owns land, her children are less likely to be underweight or sick. The land is better conserved, and there is less deforestation and land grabbing. Education is a fundamental human right. Yet worldwide, 130 million girls are out of school. When a girl is educated, she receives a better salary later in life. Her children have a better chance of survival. In terms of climate, the number of years a girl is educated is related to decreased carbon dioxide emissions and decreased risk of dying from an extreme weather event. Sexual and reproductive health services are critical for women's well-being. Yet about 218 million girls of reproductive age from low and middle income countries want to avoid pregnancy but are unable to access modern contraceptive methods. While these discussions should be right-centered, there are undoubtedly benefits to the environment as well. Project Drawdown modeled fostering equality through increased education and family planning and found that this could reduce carbon dioxide equivalent emissions by nearly 70 gigatons by 2050. Finally, funding is a critical way to empower women, yet only 0.2% of foundation funding focuses intentionally on women and the environment. Despite this, women-led and women-designed projects are among some of the most impactful and well-known on the planet. The benefits of women's equality to women, their communities, nations, and nature are clear. And there is even more good news. Not only does gender equality benefit women and nature, but it benefits men too. Greater gender equality is associated with lower death, suicide, and divorce rates, and greater happiness and physical activity for men. 2024 was the warmest year on record. Extreme wildfires, heat, floods, and droughts became more frequent and more intense. We are living in a time of great urgency to slow the rate of greenhouse gas emissions into the atmosphere, and we don't have time on our side. So what can we do to ensure that women are in positions of leadership and are empowered? Everything in history, from the Chipko movement in India to the Green Belt movement in Kenya to the global Me Too movement, supports the idea that women can make the biggest change when we work together in numbers, support one another, and lift each other up. We are going to have to join hands across movements, linking feminist movements and conservation and climate movements, because the climate crisis is not just an environmental issue, it's a feminist issue as well. What's exciting about women's leadership is that women leaders tend to hire more women leaders. Women lawmakers tend to pass more laws that benefit women. So we just need to reach that point where the momentum is self-generating. So how do we get there? I believe that we need a superbloom for women. We need a simultaneous and collective investment in women, in land ownership, education, sexual and reproductive health, and funding. If we support women in these ways at scale across countries around the world, women's collective thriving will have staggering ripple effects and ever-growing benefits for women, communities, nations, and the world at large. Melinda French Gates has a quote that I really love. If you want to lift up humanity, empower women. It is the most comprehensive, pervasive, and high-level investment you can make in human beings. I would like to take this a step further and say it's one of the most important investments that you can make in planet Earth.